Welcome to Demasked. My name is Fresman, and today I'm joined by Sir Creepington Pasta. How are you today?
I am fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing very good. So, I've been wondering, how long have you been on YouTube for?
Um, so I think about 7 months now. I started this channel um at the end of January this year, and this is my
Hmm.
one and only first YouTube channel. So about 7 months.
Oh, so you don't have a previous project? This is the beginning of it?
Yep, this was the beginning. I had one other channel years and years ago, about probably 10 years ago when I was a teenager, with some music
Hmm.
that will never be heard. So
So, I saw I was actually recommended to you, or not recommended. You were recommended to me to
oh,
interview you. And so
how
and I
flattering.
saw your sort of your monster design. Where did that come from?
Yeah, so when I first started, I actually pulled. I was trying to, create the whole YouTube channel and create the persona. So I was looking for a just a character. I was looking for something, and I pulled from Google. If you look back, I might even have it posted on Twitter or something early on. But I just found like this picture of this big, just I don't know. It was on some website, Google search, but it was like a big, kind of what I have now, big scary skeleton thing, and just a sketch. So then at some point, I was reaching out to people trying to see if someone could make me a 3D model. Um,
Mm.
because I was working with Blender, which is like a 3D program, and I kind of was, learning it. So I was like, if I could get someone to make me a 3D model of it, then I could pose it however I want, do a bunch of stuff. So I actually got this
Mm.
made on Fiverr or Fiverr, whatever that's called. Somebody made this for me. Um, yeah, and then so I just went in and changed a couple things, put a mask on them, and posed them up, and that's it.
Nice.
Yeah, my original idea, I wanted to have kind of the same thing, a big skeleton man, but I wanted a like a monocle, like the Monopoly guy or whatever that's called. Like the
Oh
eyeglass
yeah.
thing. That's what I want. Sir Creepington pasta kind of. It's like a fancy thing,
Does
and thought it could be cool. Didn't happen. Maybe it will at some point, but yeah, I'm happy with
d-
it.
does the Monopoly guy have a? Does he have a name? I could have sworn he had a name.
He might have a name. I don't know his name. He might have a name.
Oh, here we go. Rich Uncle Pennybags.
Penny bags. Yep, I did know that. I've heard of that. Didn't know he was an uncle, but I think I knew he was penny bags.
Yeah. Huh.
Does he have a top hat too?
He does, and it
Okay,
looks like
so
he only sometimes has a monocle.
oh really? Okay. Well, I was thinking top hat and monocle for the skeleton man, so I would have really
Oh, there
been
you go.
knocking his style.
It reminds me of those oh, what are they called? It's like steal his style memes,
Yeah.
but it presents like really, really expensive clothes.
Yeah.
What was the one? It was Squidward. It's like steal his style. It's like $500 Gucci brown shirt.
I didn't see that.
So what made you want to do narration?
So like I said, when I was in my teens, I did a lot of music stuff. I actually wanted to go to school for audio visual, production, stuff like that. So I've been into audio production for a long time, and then kind of didn't do anything with it. Um, and then maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I remember it was Halloween. It was just like a really uneventful Halloween. I have a son. Um,
Hmm.
he'll be 4 soon. He's little, so it was just kind of we do like carving pumpkins and all that. But he was little, and I also have a daughter who's old enough, so we just didn't do a lot that year. It was just like, man, we didn't go to any pumpkin patches, any the regular stuff you would do, I guess. So I was just really it was Halloween day, and I was at work. And I was like, I need to find something scary, or I need to get in the mood for Halloween. So I think I just looked up. I didn't know anything about creepypastas, about any of that. I think I looked up scary stories on YouTube or something. Um,
Mm.
and so I came across, I think Unit 522 was, or what is it, 533, whatever that Uncle Unit is a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and started listening to him. Um, and then I listened to it like all day, and then the next day I was like, That was pretty cool. I could do that again. So I did it again, listened to it all day, and that went on for like months. I just listened to creepypastas all day long, narrations. So at some point down the road, I think maybe a year after that, or I don't know, a year or two, 2 years after that, I was like, you know what? I could probably do this. I love it so much, and I could probably do it myself. So I tried it, and it worked.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, I made the mistake of starting to listen to creepypastas while I was at work working the graveyard shift.
Oh, well, that's kind of fitting.
I mean, it is, but then you're standing outside alone in the dark.
Yeah. That's the whole point, is to get kind of creeped out, right?
Oh, yeah. Or start making up excuses to stay inside the building.
Not do your job correctly.
Aren't you going to go out there and push carts? I'm like, you can do that.
Well, see, I don't want to talk too much about real life, but I drive all day. I drive for my job, so it's just perfect. It was perfect for me.
Oh, yeah.
I can drive all day long, and then like a
Hmm.
nice cloudy, rainy day would come along, and I'm driving, listening to creepypastas.
Hmm.
It was yeah, loved it. But weirdly, I don't do it as much anymore now that I make them. It's weird.
Hmm.
I put them on, and I'm analyzing it too much. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, I see how he did that part, and I don't do that or something. It's like, it sucks. I can enjoy it as much, but hey, I still like it.
Well, I think that goes with, sort of now you know how the sausage is made, for a lack of a better term.
Right. Yep. I think that's for anything too. I would imagine, playing your favorite video game versus, you know, having worked on making that video game. I've thought of that in the past
Mm.
too, like trying to play that and enjoy it when you kind of know, how the coding and the physics of it works. Like, yeah, I know why this happens. I know when I go around this corner, this is gonna happen. So yeah, kind of the same thing, I guess.
Oh, well, like, oh, what was it? So I do you listen to any like audiobooks?
Mm. Um,
Um,
I have in the past.
oh yeah.
Not too much, but yeah. I try to tell myself I'd rather read it, but I don't read it either. So
There's a book out there that I would recommend. It's the only book I think I would ever recommend the audiobook over reading it,
yeah, what's that?
and it's Voices from the Edge, Volume 1 by Harlan Ellison.
Okay.
And it contains the story. It was also made into a game, but it contains the story I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Okay. Is it scary stories, or what is it?
A lot of them are horror based, but it's not like how do I word it? It's not like you see in a lot of creepypasta where it's like the monster's at my door. It's like bizarre, almost existential horror.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, and without, like, I made the mistake of listening to that audiobook. So that specific audiobook is narrated by the author. And so he knows how all of it's supposed to sound.
Yeah.
And I'm I was working retail, just non-specified retail,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm watching the front door, and you're supposed to check receipts and all that, so people don't walk out with stuff.
Sure.
And I'm able to listen to music, but I'm listening to that audiobook.
Uh-huh.
And so there's this like really sweet little old lady. She's like, "Here, can you check my receipt for me to make sure I have everything?" I'm like, "Sure thing, ma'am." And in my ears, I hear, "I am a great soft jelly thing." I'm just
Oh
like,
man,
"Oh,
that's funny. I would check that out.
yes." It's on. This show is not in no way sponsored by it, but it's on Audible.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll have to message you later and get that name again. So I don't,
Oh yeah,
I'll
it's
forget it,
also on
but
YouTube. So,
yeah.
but yeah, do you have a? If you had to pick a favorite out of like creepy pastas or even just short stories that are connected to horror, do you have an all-time favorite?
If I think about the ones I've listened to, because I don't, like, other than creepypastas, when I got hooked onto listening to creepypastas and narrators and
Mm,
things like that, that was kind of like I stayed there. So I didn't listen to, or read or hear a whole lot of audiobooks or books that are horror based, horror movies maybe.
mm.
But as far as creepypastas go, like creepypasta stories, I've heard so many, and I can remember a lot of them. I can remember some of my favorites, but I have no idea what they're called or what they are. Um,
Mm.
and now I'm hearing so many and reading so many of them that it all just kind of blends together. So I don't know that I can pick a favorite. I'll say that I read a book. Out of anything I can remember, I read a physical book. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It may have became a movie too, but it's Hell House. I don't know. I don't know if it's a big thing or not, but that's a good book. That's one that I would listen to an
I-
audiobook again.
Is that the one about the haunted house that actually turned out to be haunted?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's
Hell
a
House LLC.
I think so. I can't. I think the writer is kind of notable, but I don't remember. It's right over there on my bookshelf. But I don't. Yeah, I don't remember. But it's a really good book though. Yeah, that's one that I love. I wish I could tell you like a really good horror, like narration or good creepypasta or some sort of, I can't think of any one specific.
Is it
It's
by
too many.
Richard Matheson?
That sounds familiar. Yeah, I think that's the one.
Published in 71.
Yeah, probably it's pretty old.
Mm.
Yeah, that's good. I would recommend that for like a horror book. Um, yeah, because like I said, I never looked up or tried to find a lot of horror, novels, but I would if I
Mm.
ever had time.
Well, I mean, even going back and looking at the classics, like Bram Stoker's Dracula, the
Mm,
the what you kind of hear through secondhand like reviews, it doesn't really do the story justice.
yeah, right.
And there, like, I've recently started reading Bram Stoker's Dracula, but there's a moment that I believe isn't in the movie adaptation with Keanu Reeves,
Yeah.
but there, there's a weird moment that they show sort of how messed up like Dracula's castle is, or at least the idea of even being near it.
Oh, really?
Because yeah, it's like Harkness is climbing into a carriage and he turns back and like the whole town is standing outside watching him climb into the carriage.
See, that's what
Just,
book, like talking about books turned into movies. I would always rather hear the book. I can't read the book or hear a book first and then go and watch a movie, especially something like that. It ruins it
mm,
for me. The whole time I'm like, nope, I missed that. Nope, I didn't do that as well.
oh yes. Well, oh my god, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Have you ever seen that?
No, I see it. I see it like on Netflix or whatever it's on right now, but no, I've never watched it.
It's an okay movie. It's actually a really good book, I will say.
I didn't even know it was a book.
Yep, originally a book and then it got adapted.
Mm.
But
No, I
I
yeah, I would read that because it looks interesting, and just from the cover, and I've clicked on it. I think I've read the description, but never watched it.
yeah, it's one of it falls under that jurisdiction of like a lot of stuff from the book got cut out for the movie.
Yeah, which I understand
It's
that they do. I get it, but
yeah, yeah.
it's not like I get that with reading creepypastas. Like when I'm going through it's sometimes it's hard. I mean, just narrating them even. But in movies, I would understand how it's hard to every little detail, every little because a lot of it too, a lot of really good books. It's you get like a couple pages full of just describing a scene or describe
Mm.
and then in the movie it's like a split second and it's it's just showing you it. So it makes sense that
Oh yeah.
it would change the dynamic a little bit.
Oh yeah, especially with with books though, like they give you sort of how everybody's feeling, the looks on people's faces,
Yeah.
the intent of how people are moving around and all this. But then in a movie, it's like, let's go.
Yeah, that happens in a second, and then they got to move on to something else. Yeah.
Yep. Or I don't know. Do you read comic books perchance?
No, I never really have. I've never really been into it.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I haven't. It's interesting to me, and I've had like friends in the past and people who've had them and shown me them and given me some to borrow, to read. But yeah, I never really got into it. I don't know why. Same thing with like anime, things like that. I just never really got into it too
Mm.
much.
Well, I love like I love like the Marvel movies and whatnot because a lot of those are sort of direct adaptations from the comics.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was one that I thought was hilarious back when it first came out was that Batman versus Superman.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember the marketing where it's like it's a whole new original story that we made up off the top of our heads, and then the movie starts and you're like, oh, this is this comic book story.
Yeah. Yeah, them I can't keep up with the movies anymore. I love Marvel and DC, all that. Like movies and the movies and but I think the last thing I've seen is like one of the first Iron Man. And then I was like, yeah,
Mm.
I should follow this whole thing and all these Avengers and everything else that's coming out, Captain America. But every time you get on like Hulu or Netflix or whatever they're on, it's just like, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Can't
Yep.
keep up now.
Now, do you watch a lot of movies?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say.
Do you got a favorite?
Holy moly, favorite movie of all time.
Now there's no wrong answer, but I will be judging you.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'm gonna say so. What like what I'm probably gonna say is something that's like you're gonna judge me. Yeah, you're gonna judge me. So it's probably something like Wizard of Oz. But hear me out.
That's fine.
Is it okay? Well, only
Yeah,
because
I
like there's
love
a lot of
Wizard of Oz.
new movies. It's just there's something nostalgic about that for me. That was like my favorite
Sure.
movie as a kid. Same thing like Alice in Wonderland, but I won't say that one. That's a little more. That's a little not a good answer, but yeah, like there's a lot of newer movies within like the last 5-10 years that I could probably say that's great. But
Mm.
I don't know, there's something about those old movies. Uh, like I don't know, I'm a sucker for old stuff like Twilight Zone. That's it's a really weird show, but that is probably my favorite show to watch. Just idle time, turn it on. Not like
That
I really
that
want to
first
focus
episode
on
is
it.
the worst to me.
The first episode of Twilight Zone.
Not worse isn't bad, but like the horror is like
Like, what's the first one? Because I can't remember. I've seen every episode.
it's Sterling, for God's sake.
Oh,
It's
yep,
like and time to climb a
yep.
chair.
Here it
Oh
is.
man, dude, why? No. Uh, split second. Get off my computer.
He just wants to be a part of the action.
Oh yeah, but he climbed directly onto my computer fans.
And maybe he wants to sabotage the action.
Trying to cut the interview short,
Yeah, so he doesn't like me already.
but I oh, what was it? The first episode was the I want to say it was an army soldier, like a U.S. Army soldier, and he's sort of appears on the edge of a small town, but all of the people are missing.
Um, mm, that seems like a
And
good
like,
description for like a few episodes. I'm trying to think exactly which one is that. I'm looking it up.
well, if I remember, he's like he's getting like phone calls from like a payphone booth.
Oh yeah, does he like walk in the very beginning? He like walks into a diner and no one's there or something,
Yeah, and he's
and he's
trying to
like
like explain
waffles.
to somebody in the back.
Yeah, yeah, he's like oh, and waffles here or something, whatever he's saying. I do remember that one. Yeah,
Like I thought it was just gonna be. I think it's excellent writing that they even describe that the soldier doesn't even know how he got there.
yeah, yeah.
It's like he's like, yeah, I just walked into town. He was, to be honest, I don't remember walking to town.
Yeah. It's so funny because like I enjoy the show so much, but like I'm fully aware that you can't make something like that today. Like obviously, things have come a long way with production and acting, and there's something about there's almost like it's not like satire, but there's something about watching it that's like it's gold just because it's so old and almost really like a low budget, you know, low budget sort of bad acting feel, bad production.
Mm.
But at the time, like, and at the time, it was scary. A lot of these episodes really were scary to people, and that's crazy that it was
Or
a
or how
horror
they
show.
or how they have that sort of ironic twist for some people at the end.
Yeah, yeah, but
Like
it's
the guy who wanted to be left alone so he can read books, but then he breaks his glasses.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything was so like 1-2 punch, but it's still great. I
It's
love
not
it so much.
it's not fair. I had time.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, and I think I've seen every episode. I'll turn it on like my wife. Actually, my wife got me into it. She a couple of years ago, I was like, no, because I didn't like watching old stuff. Like I wouldn't watch old movies, black and white movies and stuff. He was like, you should watch Twilight Zone. And I was like, eh. Then I watched it, and then I watched the next one, and the next one, the next one.
well, what was it? Well, it was interesting that your answer for your favorite movie was Wizard of Oz, because I'm inclined to agree.
Hmm. Yeah.
I
Okay,
love
so I guess yeah, and I just contradicted myself, but that one thing I think Wizard of Oz, and then like the old Disney movies, something about that. It's just
mm,
nostalgic. I think that's what it is. When I was a kid.
well, that, and I feel like it's hard to explain. It feels like more modern animation in terms of kids films, Disney or DreamWorks, what have you.
Yeah.
It feels like the edges have gotten a little bit softer.
Right. Right. It
Like,
has, and not to mention, there's so much of the same kind of thing. There's so much of that now. Like, and it's so
uh,
good. So, and all the animation and the productions, it's so good. But there's so much of the same. When you think back to, I
hmm,
think Wizard of Oz was like 40s. It might not have been 50s, maybe. I don't know. Whatever it was, but
check it.
yeah, check me. But at the time, that's
Oh,
it was a different concept.
39.
Ah, see, okay, that's even crazier. Yeah, that makes it. See, and I love, and it like, yeah. So in the 30s, there was no, just it was a different thing to have such a, like a fantasy different thing like that. It just wasn't. It's to
Mm,
me now. I wasn't, alive then, but it seems like everything was a little more cut and dry, proper. And then you get something like Twilight
mm,
Zone or Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
mm. Well, I mean, even if you go back and look at like Disney's Snow White,
Right. Yeah.
well, there's it's astounding how fast the tone shifts just in Snow White by itself, because happy hunky dory, the seven dwarves are marching along mining, and then Snow White's being chased through the woods by a murderer.
Yeah. And that was 30s. I think Snow White was 30s or 40s or something.
I believe so.
Yeah, that was old too. See, and I like that stuff. And I like there is something about that time, like music wise. I used to be
Mm.
into all different types of music. I went through different phases. But I like it now. I'll be at home cooking or doing something. I'll turn on like old like Frank Sinatra or the Ink Spots. That might have been sort of brought on by like Fallout games and stuff too. But I
Uh,
love
I was
listening to
about
that.
to say some Dean Martin.
Yeah, Dean Martin, all that stuff. Yeah, that's what I'll turn on. Like that's what I listen to. Like if I'm listening to music in the background somewhere, that's probably what's on. There's something about that time, and maybe those like Wizard of Oz, Twilight Zone, I might reflect that too. I don't know.
I I enjoy, um like, especially, and it's interesting they brought up Fallout, because I feel like with game soundtracks, but whether they be comprised of pre-existing songs, much like the almost the entire Fallout catalog,
Yeah, yeah.
or songs specifically made for a game, like songs to test to for Portal 2.
Oh yeah. I never played that, but
It's,
yeah,
even if you don't play it, the soundtrack is excellent.
really.
Yeah, and it I think it really says something if a soundtrack can essentially inform you of where you are in that game without literally spelling it out for you.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, it can be powerful. That's something that like Fallout. I'll come back to that. Like that is huge for me. Like that, the music in that game just it like underwrites the entire game for me. Like without that whole, just the vibe of it, it would be I wouldn't even think of it the same.
I I was listening to Big Iron earlier,
Yeah,
but was it what's his name? Marty Robbins. There we go.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yep.
But, oh, have you listened to the Doom soundtrack?
No, that's another game I haven't
That's
gotten into. Yeah, I want to.
that one's good too. That's real real good.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, both Doom and Doom Eternal soundtracks are excellent.
Hmm. That's another thing that I never kept up with the Doom games, and now there seems to be so many that I don't really know where to start. Where I would go with it. I don't even know how many games there are. Maybe there's not that many, but it seems like it. I'm always hearing something about another Doom.
I think there's five right now, but one of them isn't canon. Like, it doesn't count.
Yeah, right.
No, wait, there's six, but one doesn't count. Never mind.
Well, it's still a lot of games.
It's a weird, like, even the backstory's worth getting into.
Yeah, yeah. See, I know nothing about the lore of it or backstory, any of that. Don't really know the Doom games. I've watched some people play it, like on YouTube, but that's about it. Oh, I think there was a
I
VR
love.
Doom, and when I first got my
Oh yes.
PSVR, which I don't use anymore, but I wanted to get that, and I think I maybe did like a demo or something of it, but I just had no idea what was going on.
Excuse me. Well, it, well, it's funny watching reviews for the newer games,
Yeah.
and like you know how with certain games and movies, people will make theories about the main character or the lore.
Yes. Yeah, I read them
I
sometimes.
I've never seen there. I can't remember the name of the guy's channel, and even if I did, I wouldn't say it. But he made a prediction about Doom Eternal, the most recent game, and
Yeah.
he couldn't have been more wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I hear that. Like I read those about games I'm into. Not on
Mm.
purpose, like I'll come across them, but they're just like
Do you have
open-ended theories. Like that's about
Do
it.
you have a favorite game?
Um, that's that. The Fallout series is really up there for me. I think I played all of them. Maybe starting with like three. Um, and Fallout 4 was awesome, and I didn't even finish that. I don't think I finished it. I just knew enough about it. I knew what was gonna happen. See, this is what happens to me in a game, and like I could say Red Dead Redemption 2, or
Mm.
also, but I could say like Skyrim was awesome too. My thing is open
Mm.
world games. I love open world games, but it's like
Mm.
it's my weakness too because I want to just I'm so immersive when I get into games. I'll do all the side stuff. I'll go explore everything before I ever finish the story. Then by the time I'm done with all that, I'm on to another game. No, I don't finish it. And that happens with me a lot. So I don't know. I'd say Fallout. Probably Fallout 4 was a really. I probably spent I don't even know how much time in that. On par with Skyrim, I'd say.
So those two are your top of the hill.
I'd say. I'd say I've spent a lot of
Nice.
times playing other games too, but like right now, like I've been into Farming Simulator. I'm also really into simulator games. Uh,
Okay.
but I just don't know that I could say those are my favorite. The
Mm.
whole see like something like like Fallout or the Elder Scrolls world. I've gotten so far into the lore of those, watching videos and then researching. One of those two are probably my favorite.
Have you ever heard of Oxhorn?
I don't think so.
He does Fallout 4 lore videos.
Oh, then probably. Maybe I don't know it by name, but I've probably seen them.
Say if you haven't, I think you'd like him because it's very, what's the word? Very digestible because
Mm.
it's not he's covering 6 hours worth of something. He'll pick one topic, give you the full breakdown on it, and then you can just move on to the next video.
Mm. Yeah, I like that. Digestible is good.
It,
What was the name?
Oxhorn, OX horn, all one word.
Just doing a little googly Google.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I've probably watched this stuff before. Oh, it's playing. Yeah. Yeah. No, I spent a lot of time watching Fallout lore and uh, Elder Scrolls too. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen this guy. I'm not sure. Doesn't look too familiar, but I will.
Well, I still need to. I worked my way through the Fallout 4 ones, but I still need to. I've beat Skyrim twice,
Mm, yeah.
but I know next to nothing as to what's going on.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm the opposite. Like I don't did I beat Skyrim? I haven't played in a while. I played again recently, like when I got the PSVR, I got Skyrim VR. But
Mm.
I had played it, so I don't know if I've ever beat it. I don't want I don't know if I'll play it again, so maybe a spoiler wouldn't be. But I can't think of what happens at the end if I did beat it. So
Mm.
I'm not sure. Um
See, I tried to start a new run on PC,
yeah.
but the so I got accidentally hit with what's it called, that vampiric dust.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And
and by the time I figured out who to go to get it cured, the timer ran out and I became a vampire.
that's kind of cool though too. A different playthrough. See,
Well, like,
I tried to replay
well,
it
like,
again. Oh, go ahead.
mm, oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I was searching the whole map to find anybody who could cure my vampirism, and then somebody told me, like, head north. It's like a town called Morath or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like there's a guy there, and if you talk to him, he can cure your vampirism. I goes, great, awesome, and he goes, hey, meet me on the edge of town by the shrine, and I'll heal you. And he actually does. He's able to. But the problem is, if you achieve full vampirism, he'll try to kill you.
Oh.
And so I'm standing outside waiting for him to show up, and that's when it ticked over.
Uh, oh, quite the caveat.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I'm standing around, and I see him, like, hey man. He's like, die. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Game over. See, I actually thought about getting Skyrim on PC just because, I've heard, like, I've seen, when I got Fallout 4 on PC. I actually just got, like, a good PC, maybe, I don't know, like, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. So I've been trying to, like,
Nice.
so I bought Fallout 4 again because it had been a while since I played. And mods, I got into mods so crazy. And so I modded that game. I modded it so much. And I actually spent more time, like, finding and installing and messing with mods than I did playing it again. I ended up just not really playing through because I knew everything that was going to go on. I just haven't really dove back into it yet. But Skyrim, when I was looking, through all those Fallout 4 mods, Skyrim seems to have some crazy mods, and people talk a lot about it. So, like, really change the game, make it better type mods. So I kind of wanted to try it just to do that, but I haven't. It's one of them things where, like, Skyrim is a great game, but it's pretty old at this point, and I just remember everything when I'm doing the whole beginning stuff, and then for the first, like, couple hours of gameplay, I'm like, yep, I remember doing this. Yep, I remember doing this, and that's hard for me when I go back into a game to, like, okay, I know what's gonna happen next.
I So I've been having a hard time with Skyrim because it likes to glitch out in terms of quests.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bethesda.
And
A lot of Bethesda games.
well, do you remember Septimus?
No?
He if I remember, the mission's called Discerning the Transmundane, and it's you're unlocking this giant cube in his house to get, like, an elder scroll that's inside.
Maybe.
And
Maybe.
I you're supposed to gather these lexicons with, like, an energy that you've put into them.
Yeah.
And I it took hours, and I finally got all the pieces. I bring it to Septimus's house. I walk into his house, and he forgets who I am.
Yeah, wow. That sounds like the epitome of Bethesda games. I can't remember it happening too much in Skyrim. I'm sure it did, but Fallout, I know, I like Fallout. It was a big thing. Definitely happened there.
I've I beat Fallout 4, and for some reason, like some of the characters have stopped talking to me, and I can't figure out why.
Really?
Yeah.
That's see, I don't know. I know what happens at the end. I didn't beat Fallout 4,
Mm.
regrettably. It's a shame, but and I wanted to go back and do that. But like I said, I played so much of the side stuff first. Then I got all the DLC, and then it was like, oh, good luck ever finishing this main storyline. I have so much to do. Happens. But
See,
but yeah.
mm, mm.
I also spend a lot of time building. I do that too with games.
Yeah.
Like I will like settlements, you know. I will spend tons of time building settlements really to do nothing. I mean, I'll build it up. I'll spend hours just building an awesome settlement with some cool buildings, and then, that doesn't really help you
I
in the game at all to build a cool building.
Hey man, at least you're building something. I spent my time collecting power armor.
Oh yeah. I heard you and someone else talking about. I can't remember whose interview I was watching that you did, and I was listening
Oh
to the
no.
power armor things, but I can't remember who it was. And weekly
It,
creeps or
it,
something. I don't remember.
it was either weekly or lady.
It wasn't lady. It was a guy. I think it was weekly. But yeah, and then I started thinking. I'm
Mm.
like, man, you guys are talking about this, and I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I was like, that it was showing me how much time I did not spend in the game, uh, doing anything with power armor or knowing anything. I think I barely touched anything about the different types of power armor or like building your own and at the stations. I didn't do any of that. I don't know why. Probably would have
Well,
helped.
the thing is, I don't even really use power armor. I
Yeah.
collect it,
Yeah. Oh,
but
okay. Yeah.
it'll just stand there,
Yeah.
and the last time I counted, I have around like 186 full suits of power armor.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, you really did.
Yeah, and what I mean I collected it, I mean I bought the season pass to get the DLC for Nuka World and Far Harbor to steal the power
The
armor from
power armor.
there too.
No kidding. Wow. 100 something?
Yeah.
I definitely didn't know that there was that many. Yeah, see, no, I didn't
Uh,
know anything. I had a collection. I remember it because I remember I remember I built that very first red rocket you get to when you come out of Sanctuary there.
uh-huh.
My first playthrough Fallout, I spent so much time. I wish I still had it. I definitely don't. It was on an old PlayStation or something, but I spent so much time making that so awesome. And I remember having a whole room for power armor, but I didn't know what they were. I probably had 7 or 8 maybe. It was just things I found. But 100 something? Yeah, you spent time doing that.
Well, that and I figured out like AI exploits on how to get free power armor.
Ah, tricky, tricky.
Like well, like the Brotherhood of Steel Paladins.
Yeah,
If you sneak up to them and pickpocket just the fusion core,
yeah.
it forces them out of their power armor frame.
Oh, that's
But
crazy.
it doesn't aggro them, so they'll just hop out, like look at you, and then just walk away.
And take that.
Yeah, like this is mine, and time to go back to the gas station and line my rooftop with these.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Is that still an active
Uh,
game playthrough that you have?
I go back every once in a while.
You should have a screenshot or a video or something, 'cause that would be I'd probably go viral.
Look at this madman.
Another thing you can do in
I,
Fallout 4, that would be the title.
oh, here we go. You know what? I'll put it up on screen. Future me in editing, you know what to do. But for you. Here's a photo of my character with all of those suits.
Oh yeah. So was that the Red Rocket right out of Sanctuary?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's not what I had my
but
roof looking like. That's crazy. That's cool. So
well,
they're all different too?
they're all ones that I've collected and like found and stolen.
So is this on
And
PC?
yes,
Okay, so it's probably fine. I was gonna say this on PlayStation would probably be a very laggy, unplayable experience.
I don't
It's a
know.
lot of stuff in one area.
I do have some slowdown when I come back to Red Rocket.
I bet.
Well, that and I realized that this like all these suits are facing outwards. That looks terrifying to an outside observer.
Yeah. Walking up on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess with them. They've got an army.
Hey, look at gas station. Oh god.
Yeah. I also love the pink hair, so that's cool.
Oh yeah. I I gotta keep it you know.
See, this discussion is gonna want to make me go back and play it. I actually, so I have it on Steam. When I first got this PC, I got it, and like I said, I was playing, and then I actually uninstalled it to get other games, and because I
Mm,
wasn't playing it, and I even went to Fallout 76. But I might have to go back and
nice.
do Fallout 4. Yeah, yeah. There's so much of it I
See,
still haven't done. Like even with the DLC. I mean, the storyline, yeah, but I think I got pretty far in the storyline. I was just about to get into the institute. Dang, see now it's been
mm,
long enough I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, so but like what's the DLCs? I know Nuka World's one. I didn't do much with that. I remember going there.
Far Harbor.
Far Harbor. That was the one I started to do. I probably did most of that one. But yeah, but and then I was thinking of it. And there was another DLC. It had the you could have like robots. You can make your own robots and have them as companions.
Yep,
That's
was
cool.
Automatron.
Yeah. See, yeah, I think about all them. Like, there's so much I didn't do. I do want to go back and get into it.
I so I I'm not a big fan of most of the factions in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the Minutemen,
Mm.
just not the execution.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
And
agree with that.
I made my own faction
Oh.
called the Church of the Armor.
Oh, Church of the Armor. What's that all
It's
about?
it it's like the Minutemen but a lot more effective.
Okay.
Instead of sending people with laser muskets, we're sending people in power armor.
That's smart. That should have been implemented in the beginning. That makes sense.
And I was doing business with the Brotherhood of Steel, but just to like buy power armor off of them.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And and emphasis on was, I was willing to let them exist until Proctor Teagan, the guy who sells you power armor, messed it up for them.
Oh yeah.
Well, he asked me to go steal like food from innocent farmers.
Uh,
He's like, "Hey, I need you to go, acquisition some food from the farmers below the Pridwin."
hmm.
And even my character's like, "Don't they need that food?" And he's like, "Yeah, but we need it more." I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna burn this place to the ground."
Yeah. No. 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 That's
and
crazy.
and then the and then during the fight with the Brotherhood of Steel, I was just running around stealing armor pieces.
Yeah. Show them. So have you
They're
played
like,
76 at all?
I have, and
You hate it?
I don't hate it because I believe it. How do I word it? I don't believe it works as an MMO,
Right.
but I think it works fantastic as a simple cooperative game,
Yeah.
like
Me too.
like a like a group of 3 or 4.
Yeah. So I didn't even I never wanted it to be like an MMORPG. I went like when I first got it, I just wanted a new Fallout game. And actually, so I didn't
Hmm.
even play like I played solo. That's all I did, and I wanted it to, and it was awesome. Like I loved it, and I was seeing all the. It was when it first came out too, so I don't know how like aware you are of the whole timeline of what happened with 76, but it came out and it was very bare, didn't have any
Yep.
NPCs, all that. Uh, so I played it though, and I think I had read all the bad reviews. Oh yeah, it wasn't when it first came out. I played it well after it came out because I had read the reviews, and everyone was like, "Oh
Mm,
no, it's a shell of a game. It's not great." But it was
mm,
before Wastelanders came out, bringing NPCs in. But I still loved it.
mm.
I played it like a single player game. I played it like Fallout 4, and I was like, "Oh, this is a new
Nice.
world. This is there's a lot of stuff to do. Even there's no NPCs. Like it's still awesome." So I actually really enjoyed it. And then Wastelanders came out, and whatever updates came after that, and it got even better. So yeah, I think it's fun. Fallout 4 probably still tops it, just because there's so much, and it's a really big game, and it has a good storyline. But 76 not bad.
Well, well, I played it. Funny enough, I played it with Weekly Creeps and Lady Spookaria,
Mm-hmm.
and I continued the supposed storyline of like the Church of the Armor in the Capital Wasteland.
Yeah.
But like the idea is that I just left that the church left the hundreds of suits of power armor back at the Red Rocket gas station, and then I went to West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I made a second character, which is melee only, and Lady hates that character.
Really? Why?
Oh yeah, because he's more effective than their guns.
Yeah. You know what? I went melee too on 76 because I was watching people on YouTube play, and I saw so many people like pulling out the melee, whatever melee things they had, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I can't remember what I had. Oh, that was on PlayStation. I don't know what I'm doing now on there, but yeah, I had one too. I started going melee. I was like, this is effective.
Well, people use axes and swords and all that.
Hmm.
I use my fists,
Oh yeah, that is different.
and, and well, it's weirder because it's effective. Somehow I've got the timing down where I can run up and like hit somebody and then like back up and dodge.
Mm. Yep.
And 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 there have been times where I'm hearing gunshots from Weekly and Lady behind me, and they're like trying to snipe whatever we're hitting, and I'm just uppercutting like
Yeah.
like a super mutant. And then I'm like, "Look, Lady, we did it!" And I just hear, "This is bullshit."
That's funny. Yeah, you found the cheat code there.
Well, I mean, the best part is I don't have to reload. I don't need ammunition,
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't have
and
to
and it
switch.
takes like maybe 3 cloth to fix my boxing glove.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, there's a visual that I like to associate playing that game with them, because that will all go back to, I think it's Weekly's camp,
Yeah.
and he'll be doling out bullets. He's like, okay, I've got like 5.56 ammo, 45 9mm. He's like, all right, which ones do you need, Lady? And then I'm over here in the corner just adding duct tape to a boxing glove.
Yeah, that's funny. Do you still play with them?
I haven't for a little bit. I really need to get back into it because there's apparently been that new update.
Yeah, was it recently?
Like
Because I
there,
saw it. I saw it on Steam. I didn't play since then, I don't think.
yeah, I think it's called like Steel Rain or something like that.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, two. There was two recently that have come out since I've played last. Uh, Sorry, hold on one second. My son just came out here. Okay, I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
I knew it would happen eventually. He asked me if we could go to the beach, so that's what he came out for.
Well, I mean, are ya?
No, but I told him we could soon, and it sounds like a great idea. My mom just went to the beach, and so ever since she went to like I don't know Gulf Shores or something, so he's been talking about it nonstop after showing him pictures and all that. But yeah, yeah, he's gonna make us book a trip there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, now I have a question for you.
Mhm.
If you could pick a location for a Fallout game to take place, where would it be?
Hmm. I've thought about this before, and there's two things, two things that would be in my mind perfect. Somewhere I would say Colorado, somewhere in the mountains, somewhere snowy, but and then it gets to the point where maybe snowy all the time is kind of lame. But then, well, gonna say so snowy mountains and snowy or tropical. But then you think, well, it's been Washington D.C., it's been Boston, so they're very specific places.
Hmm.
So specific cities. I mean, I guess I didn't think about that. I was thinking landscapes because when I got to West Virginia, like that's so different than anything that
Hmm.
else has been. But I don't know. I guess
What
I should be thinking specific cities, but I don't know, or maybe even out of the U.S.
I'm thinking maybe like hmm maybe South Texas,
South Texas. Huh.
like right on the border, you know?
Yeah, right. Right. Something else that would be cool too would be just like like maybe an obvious answer, but like LA or New York. Because now I was totally thinking of just like climate, but thinking of cities,
Hmm.
like Boston or Washington D.C. LA or New York would be crazy. That'd be quite a feat to make New York, but
See,
that'd be crazy.
New York is where I'd like a modern day Assassin's Creed game.
Ooh, Assassin's Creed, that's something we could talk about too. I want to get
Well,
back into
well,
them.
my issue is, at least with games that take place in like a New York or a New York type city, is
Yeah.
that you don't get much in the way of verticality.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little
And I would,
closed in, like, when you're just walking
yeah,
through, there's not landscape. That's
and
something, yeah.
I'd love to scale a building by hand, like as an assassin, you know.
Or, Spider-Man. That's a great Spider-Man location, obviously. But, yeah, you might be
Good
right about
point.
that, because it's like, walking through the streets of New York, it might not be great for a Fallout game. Yeah, maybe,
Every
yeah.
building's irradiated.
Yeah, yeah. It would just be the same thing, street by street.
Or
Yeah.
oh man, even in like other places of the world, like oh man, can you imagine what like the Sahara looks like
Yeah. Well, that's kind of, did you play New Vegas? It's not the Sahara, but
with the Mojave Wasteland?
yeah. Yeah, kind of the same
Oh
deal.
yeah.
New Vegas is that was a really good one too. It's really old at
I
this point.
did you finish New Vegas?
May have, or maybe the same thing with every other game I play. I don't
Okay.
remember it, but that's been a long time too. I did spend a lot of time in New Vegas, but I don't recall. And I don't recall the storyline. Like I remember Fallout 3 more. I did finish that. I remember that. But New Vegas, I can't remember like the storyline too much really. Like, the whole thing
Well,
was you were going somewhere to find somebody, or you're going to a certain city, or something. But I don't really remember.
there's that guy that shoots you in the face in the beginning, Benny,
Yeah.
and I made sure to get the ultimate revenge on him.
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe so. Okay, maybe I haven't finished it. Yeah. Tell me what happened.
Well, no, you find him in New Vegas, and you have like the chance to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let you run. I'm gonna see where you go. And then he gets captured by a group called Caesar's Legion,
Yeah, I remember that.
and he's like, I walk into Caesar's camp, and there's Benny tied up,
Oh.
and I'm like, huh, fancy meeting you here.
Oh yeah. Huh.
And I go, hey Caesar, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. And so I wipe out Caesar's camp, and then I go over to untie Benny, and he goes, "Wait, you're just gonna let me go?" And I'm like, "Yep, get out of here." And the minute he turns around, I just shoot him.
Yeah. Take
I'm
that.
like, I'm like, you know what? I do forgive you.
Just put him on a bit of an emotional roller coaster before he went.
Oh, back. There we go. Well,
Hmm.
what was the? Have you seen any of the original Fallout games, like the point and click adventures?
Hmm. Like Fallout, like the Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 and all that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff on it. Very top down.
Hmm.
I never played
A
them.
Diablo type, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. And I never played them, but yeah, I have seen them.
I I tried. I have the first two on Steam. I
Oh.
got I got my ass kicked so hard at the very beginning.
Really? How is it
It took me
playing
to
it?
it's good, but it's difficult. But
Really?
it's more so just not being used to how those types of games control.
Yeah, right. That's totally different. I can imagine playing that just knowing what Fallout 4 and 3 and all those are like where they
Being
start.
used to the gunplay.
Yeah, yeah, or just the entire, it's a totally different experience. I can't even imagine what it would be like playing a game like that, from that perspective and that kind of what I imagine is the gameplay of that would be totally
Hmm.
different from what I know Fallout to be. I would try it though.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was on Steam.
Yeah, if I remember they made a newer port to it so it's a little bit more accessible than it used to be.
Yeah.
What was the Oh my goodness. You know what Fallout needs?
What's that?
Never mind. It actually exists. I forgot it exists.
Well, now I'm curious, so
I'm like,
tell
you
me
know what?
anyway.
Fallout needs a battle royale, but I'm like, that's in
Oh
76.
yeah, nuclear winter.
Yep.
Yeah, every game needs that now, right? Every game
And
has
I'm
it
like,
at this
there's
point.
no way they'd make that. Oh, they already did.
Man, I didn't spend a lot of time in that. Very little.
Neither
Almost
did
because it
I.
was so cliche. Like it was like so. I never played Fortnite ever. Not to say like I wouldn't. My wife actually plays a lot, but I never played it. I do play like Warzone, Call of Duty sometimes, but
Mm,
and then it was like my favorite open world like get myself lost in the immersion game Fallout, and then they bring on like a battle royale. I was like, I don't know if I can mix those worlds.
well, I think there's something that I feel that needs to be removed from battle royale games because I think while it does keep the round short, I don't like the ever closing barrier.
Right. Seems to be a
I
trademark
think
of it by now, at this point.
well I want so there's a sort of military simulator game that works on that premise but without marketing itself as that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where it's a Arma 3
Hmm. Don't know.
and it's essentially a battle royale, but there's no barrier to worry about.
Hmm.
It's just you're on an island, figure it out, and if you happen to find somebody, good luck.
Really? So how does it
It's
end? Just when you die, do
it,
you die? You don't come back?
it if I remember, you can respawn, but like you lose everything,
Hmm. I would play
and
something like that because I do like the battle royale concept. But yeah, you might be right about that. You might be onto something.
it it's terrifying. Some of the people that go to get you, you don't even see them, and they kill you.
Wow, that brings on a uh whole nother game that I spent a lot of time on. Have you ever played Ark?
I have not, but I've heard a lot about it. Is it worth
Wow.
getting?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. But I don't know.
Yes.
What's your I mean, do you like open world type games?
I'm I'm all over the road.
Yeah.
and I know that doesn't like give an answer,
Oh yeah, I
but
am too. I
it's
know.
I do like open world games, but it has to. It's not like, oh, the world needs to be populated by only interesting characters. It's just it has to have an objective that I want to do.
So okay, so then Ark is beautiful, like in the way that it looks good. Uh, there's a lot of stuff you can do and build, and then like there's dinosaurs you can train, and then it's a survival thing too. So it's like very
Yeah.
you die, you lose everything, you got to go find your body, whatever. But it is fun. There is it's lacking the storyline. Like I don't know that there's any real storyline at all. Uh,
Yeah, that's
it
fine.
Yeah, it is fun though. I mean, it's hours and hours you can build up. And the thing is with that game, it's all multiplayer. Oh no, you can do single player, I guess. But for the most part, you play multiplayer and there's servers. So you go into a server,
Mm.
and you can do PvP server or a PvE server. But that server is that server. So when you're in there, you find a place. You might go find a place in the woods, and then build your base, start building up your camp, and over time, you start kind of um what's the word? Like you start with nothing. You don't have any technology. You just there's axes and like pickaxe and stuff to get chop down trees and start building up all your stuff. But over time, you can start learning
Mm.
technologies, make electricity and guns and things like that. Uh,
Yeah.
but you go in the like say the woods and you build your whole thing up and then you leave and maybe you don't play for a month. Then you come back to that same server. Well, that same server is still there, so everything that was happening still has been happening for a month with or without you. You go back and maybe someone's broken down your stuff, or taken your dinosaur. It's just cool. Like it is a really fun game. Just kind of really open ended. Not much of a storyline, but I'd recommend
Well,
it. Yeah.
well, by the sound of it, I've been playing something very similar, minus the dinosaur aspect of it. But I've been playing Rust.
Yeah, Rust. I haven't played Rust, but it looks a whole lot like Ark to me, minus the dinosaurs. Yeah. Is it fun?
It I think it's fun. I like the sort of hectic weirdness that that game gives you,
Hmm.
because you wake
Yeah.
up like buck naked, and so you're just kind of
Yeah.
wandering the wilderness with all your parts hanging out.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff on that. Yeah. Yeah, it seems a lot like Ark. And it seemed like the premise, I don't know what the premise is of Rust, but it seems like the only reason I have been hesitant to like try Rust is because it seems much more PvP. It seems much more like you're really like it's
Mm.
sort of like a Call of Duty or like a something like that multiplayer game mixed in with like an Ark kind of game, and it seems very hostile in the way of other people. Like in Ark,
It
a lot of your problem is dinosaurs. Like you see a T-Rex, you're
yeah.
screwed. That's kind of what your people can be annoying too, and they can you can be kind of going against them. But Rust seems to be very much that as far as what I've seen.
I like personally. I don't um in that game. I don't kill without a reason.
Yeah,
Like I'm not
but
one. I'm not one to just go destroy somebody's house because I felt like it.
yeah, but do other people a lot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I figure. It
Well,
seems like there's a lot of that going on.
I used to play it with my cousin way back in the day, and there was a time where we built just this little hut, and you can get like a single shot pistol that it's essentially like a tube with gunpowder in it,
Oh yeah.
and you can knock like there's an option to like knock on doors, and so we're sitting in our house and we hear like the and we're just like the hell's that? And I throw open the door and there's a naked guy standing there with a rock, and I pull out the tiny gun and I'm just trying to like get him to go away. And you can throw the rock, so he like throws the rock at me and it like takes away some health, and I go sprinting after him like waving the gun around.
I'll see that. That seems like it would be kind of fun. You said way back in the day. Is that game old?
It's a couple years old. It's constantly updated though.
Uh, I thought that the game was brand new. I just never heard about it until maybe like I got a PC and then I really was on Steam and saw it more. But yeah, I didn't know it was a I thought it was like a brand new game when everybody was talking about it.
It looks like the original or the initial release date was back in 2013.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. That makes
Well, it started from like the early access and then sort of
right, and then it keeps
constantly
going.
got
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been
But
hesitant. I
there,
might buy it eventually, but
well, I there was and this is a fun story to tell. I accidentally got sold into slavery one time.
okay. Yeah.
Well, so I arrived on a server, and if you have nothing, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And and so I'm wandering around with like a torch in my hand, and this guy comes running out of the woodwork, and he's got a gun and everything, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to help us gather materials and whatnot?" And he's walking me into like this compound,
Yeah.
and he's like, "So what you'll do is you'll go out and gather as much wood as you can, and then you'll bring it back to the camp, and we'll add it to the pile. And then here's your shed where you sleep, and you have a bed and a chest
Holy
that you can
cow.
put stuff in." And I'm like, "This is a pretty sweet deal." And then I'm looking around, and nobody else, like all the workers, don't have clothes either.
Oh yeah.
and I'm
Yeah, you
and I'm like, "Oh, is that? Oh, am I being?"
Yep, you were
And
enslaved.
yeah, and I'm like, I didn't hit the mic thing, but I'm just quietly like, am I being sold right now?
Oh wow.
And and so I waited for nightfall, and the minute he turned his back, I just turned and sprinted into the darkness.
Escapee.
Just ran.
That's funny. Huh. Oh, you're making that game sound worthy of buying. That sounds pretty cool. That's funny.
It's the best and the worst of humanity.
Yeah. Okay, so on that note, have you played The Forest?
I have,
Yeah.
and my compatriots are mad at me.
Oh yeah? Why?
We found a nice little clearing,
Uh-huh.
and he was trying to build a fort, and I kept like toppling trees on top of it.
Huh.
Like, hey, I'm gathering wood, and I just see it like fall, and it gets closer and closer to the house. I'm like, oh no.
That's fun. I've been playing that actually recently. With my cousin, we've been playing. That's very Ark style too, without the dinosaurs. But that's fun. That's pretty fun. But what I'm realizing now is like, because him and I, we've played Ark before together and built stuff. And there's certain games like where you, even Fallout 76, where you can play but not really strive to like finish or get something, get somewhere in the game. And so
You don't get anywhere.
yeah, but it's okay. Like, you might just do whatever. You might just start building a big base or doing
Yeah.
whatever, exploring. But with this game, not the same. We actually just did the same thing where we found a spot in the middle of the forest. We had another it's, I guess, base area somewhere, but it was kind of
Mm.
on the edge, and it wasn't where a lot of the cannibals come through a lot, I guess. So we were there comfortable. Then we were like, hey, let's go deeper into the forest where there's a lot of bad things and just fortify an awesome base. And that's what we're doing now. But it is not that fun. The whole time we're trying to build in there, we have like a wall around it. But they're just beating on the walls constantly day and night, like 20, 30 of them. We've got to be like 80, 90 days in by now. So, like in that game, as the days go on, they get more aggressive. They spawn more and closer to you all the
Mm.
time. It's like, okay, maybe we should have just went and found Timmy or whatever the kid's name was. That's probably what we were
See,
supposed to do here.
that's why I like the forest, because unlike a lot of survival games, it does give you like a singular goal to strive toward.
Yeah, and like you have to, or you're screwed. Like you got to do that.
Yeah.
Got to go do that.
Well, it's not just just survive, or
Hmm.
it's like, hey,
Yeah,
your son's missing,
yeah,
also survive.
yeah, yeah. Right. Survive while you find him. Yeah, that's a pretty fun game.
And I remember being woefully underprepared, like no weapon, no nothing, and getting a little too close to a cave.
Yeah.
and I was playing with Weekly and Mad Chatter, another narrator slash ASMR channel,
Yeah, I know.
and I'm standing near the mouth of this cave, and I go, "Hey guys, there's a cave over here," and I hear Weekly go, "Get away from there!" I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. It is that game is one that is very more than like Ark or any other survival game I've played, that like, because at some point we got used to them, you know, the cannibals and all that running up and being loud and coming to attack you, but you can be as used to it as you want. Every once in a while they'll still creep up or they'll still scream and it'll get you. It get you, make you jump.
Well, I think the worst version of that for me is that you hear them scream, but you don't know where they are.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the worst. And sometimes they'll be just watching you. They won't come get you. They'll just be in a tree, just around somewhere, and then you hear them, and you're like, "Oh, wait, oh no,
Oh,
oh,
they're up in the trees.
oh shit! I shouldn't have spoiled anything." But
Oh
they
no.
climb trees.
That
They definitely climb trees.
that gives that gives me a new thing to worry about.
Okay, then I won't go further into what I was gonna say because if maybe you haven't
Oh
experienced all the
god.
crazy stuff yet, but no, that it gets scary. There's many times when I'm playing and so we play when you guys play together. Do you use the walkie-talkies to chat, or do you use like a like Discord or something external to chat?
Uh, Discord, but then I use the walkie-talkies to annoy my fellow team members.
So my cousin and I started when we first started. We play, you know, because like we play. It's kind of who I like play games with, and we like other games. We have a we never even thought about Discord. I never thought about it. But we use something else like it's called conference call or something. So we use that to chat when we're playing. Excuse me, but
Zoom.
yeah, yeah, similar stuff. But so we were using that at first, and then we got into the game and found the whole walkie-talkie thing. We were like, you know, it'd be kind of cool if we just used the walkie-talkies. Like that's what we use to
Yeah.
communicate the whole time. So we cut off the other thing, and that's all we use when we play now, walkie-talkies. Which
Yeah.
is it's fun, but it's hilarious because you know you have to like you press a button to bring up the walkie-talkie, then you're talking on it and you can talk to each other. But then the moment you start to do certain things, like pull out your weapon or your bow, or you get into like a fight or something, the walkie-talkie
Mm.
goes down, and so you can't really use it. Then you have to press the button to get it back up again. So we'll be like in the middle of a conversation, and there'll be a scream, and then all of a sudden I'm like, "Hey, you still there?" Nothing. Like, you okay? You dead or what? And then I'll walk over there and he's down, and there'll be six guys by him. It's actually kind of cool to play with that walkie-talkie on. But yeah,
Well, I like the version on Discord because there's a lot of blaming other players for stuff they didn't do.
yeah,
Like I get blamed for a lot of stuff because I do goof around, but I how do I word it? I goof around, but not enough to get anybody killed.
you goof around safely.
Yeah, like
Mm,
it's just mild nuisance, not
right,
like I'm gonna kill my own teammates.
right.
And so whenever they hear a sound, they're like, "Fresman, was that you?" I'm like, "I am inside the base. I don't know what you're talking about." Or playing like Phasmophobia. If I at any point if I die, I you can pick up and throw objects much like the ghost can.
Ah.
And so they're like, "Oh man, the ghost just threw a coffee mug." I'm like, "Yeah, it was the ghost."
Yeah, yeah, it must have been. Yeah,
Oh, that's spooky, man.
that's the next. I think that's the next game that I get. Phasmophobia. I've been hearing too much about it. There's only so much I can hear about like a new cool game before I gotta just try it.
I like it. It's spooky, and there are certain things. I'm terrified of the dark,
Yeah.
and so like I'll be fine, and then like the ghost shuts off the main breaker to the house,
Oh.
and just like, ah.
Yeah, that's another game I kind of looked into recently, but I don't know too much about the concept. But you're ghost hunters, right? You're ghost hunters, and you're trying to.
Mhm.
Is it really like meant to be like a horror, not for kids game, or is it more like friendly in that way?
It's how
So
do I word it? There's no jump scares if that makes sense.
yeah, you know, there's
Like
like
no
certain
faces.
there's certain horror like or quote unquote scary games that aren't like Resident Evil. type games. They're
Yeah,
more, they're more like friendly for anybody. I just couldn't. I never have known what that game is.
yeah. It's a user friendly, easy to pick up,
Yeah,
and like it's not survival horror. You actually have to investigate.
yeah. They're like there's tasks.
There's tasks, and at the end, you sort of guess what you're up against,
Oh, okay.
and and you get like a monetary bonus if you guess correctly.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
looked it up. I almost downloaded it like a day, yeah, yesterday or 2 days ago. I saw that one was early access too, which is crazy.
Yeah. They recently updated it, and so the ghosts are a lot more aggressive.
Hmm. Okay.
Like a lot.
Yeah, I see Lady Spookaria and Miss Creepy Tales. I hear them talking about it a lot. Maybe you want to try it.
They have me play with them a lot.
Yeah. I don't know if they stream it or not. I've never seen, but yeah, I gotta try it out.
They're the ones yelling at me during that game.
Yeah.
Fresman, where are you? I'm like, I'm back in the truck.
Do they stream it, or do you stream? Stream it when you guys play?
uh, I've been meaning to stream. I'd like to stream.
Yeah.
I just don't have much time.
Yeah. Oh, that is my main problem with everything. That's my excuse for everything. I tend to be in so I actually made a channel a few months after I made Sir Creepington pasta. I made a channel. I don't know if actually there's no video, so it doesn't matter. It's Sir Playington pasta. Oh no, just Sir Playington. I think it is. Yeah, I made all the graphics. I made the channel and all that because I was gonna start streaming games. Another big thing I'm into is Flight Simulator, which is totally like left field, but like I've done a lot of like real life pilot training, and I want to
Mm.
carry that out. I want to get my pilot's license eventually. So whatever, I play that like Flight Simulator, and so I thought I was like, yeah, I mean, I play so much stuff all the time. I might as well just stream it. But then it got to the point where I
I
realized that like the style of
mm.
playing that how I do, just like I said with Fallout and all that, I get so immersed into it. I probably wouldn't be very interesting to watch at all. Like I'm very in my in my head while I'm playing. I'm like exploring, and I'm like, I feel like I'd have to change up how I'd play to make good content, and until I find a way to make that happen, I don't know.
Well, that's a problem I used to have back when I first started making videos because, like, I'd play a game, but I'm so used to being just dead silent playing something.
Yeah. Like, do I really want to
And
narrate what I'm doing the entire time, or what I'm
yeah,
thinking?
but then I'm trying to avoid what not everybody, thankfully, but what some let's players do where they're just sort of telling you what they're doing
Hmm.
on screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, gotta push that button.
Right. 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 Yeah, I have a
But
hard time
I,
with watching too, like watching, and I'm talking more like streamers who just play games, like gaming streamers. It's hard, most of them are like Fortnite or Call of Duty, but yeah, it's hard for me
mm,
because I don't, and I think of how I would do it. I'm like, I just don't know. Do I want to like make a story out of this, or am I gonna be funny? Do I want to make? I'm not that funny. Yeah. How do I? I don't know. I still haven't figured out how I would ever stream a game without just being completely boring.
well, there's a sort of um, I want to call it a template if that makes sense,
Yeah.
or at least a way of recording gameplay that I find interesting, and it's a channel that unfortunately no longer exists in its current form.
Hmm. What's that?
It was called the Super Best Friends,
Okay.
but what they did wasn't the that sort of base level like, oh, that's crazy whenever something horrifying happens.
Right. Yeah.
That they would actually try to sort of dissect what's going on. So like, oh, whoa, and they're like, wait, what does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
And
I would watch something like that. It's a lot
yeah,
of like real
if I could,
conversation going on about.
yeah, and if I could recommend any, like there are compilations out there of their videos,
Yeah.
and if I could recommend any one, their Punisher playthrough.
What was the name of them again?
this super best friends play.
So they're not doing it anymore, I guess.
Unfortunately, no. It's just like they decided to sort of work on their own projects,
Ah, yeah.
but it's like from what I've seen, it was a clean separation. It's not like anybody did anything horrible. It was just wanted to
Mm,
work on their own stuff.
yeah, yeah. Huh,
But no, their Punisher playthrough is great because they're talking about the comics on top of the gameplay.
yeah. I'd
It's
say
like,
I'm
oh
looking
man,
at their
that's a
channel
crazy
now.
reference to this.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, the only streamers, gaming streamers I tend to watch, and there's nobody specific, but it tends to just be out of like pure enjoyment of how they're. It's probably like a funny thing, like they cut clips. It's not like a whole playthrough unedited. It's probably just funny, and I want to laugh at
Yeah.
it. That's like the only real, unless it's like one of like Lady Spookaria or like Slumber Reed. Sometimes I'll watch theirs, but other than that kind of stuff, real big gaming streamers, unless it's funny, I don't really watch it. But I would if I found a good
Hmm.
one. I would definitely would. I guess I don't look too much
Hmm.
into it.
But I think with that, we went a little bit over an hour, but I think with that we'll call this interview here to a close.
Definitely, I
Sir,
appreciate having me on.
yeah, Sir Creepington Pasta, this has been a blast talking to you, about music, Fallout, and
Yeah,
everything under the sun.
yeah, for sure.
But but do you have a do you have a video on your channel that you are particularly proud of that you would like featured on this here episode?
I would say that probably one of my more recent ones. It was actually the very last one I put out. Something terrible happened. Now I think I'm the only one left. It's really good.
Okay.
It has Dodge This 82 on there if you know of her. Um,
Okay.
yeah, she's great. She's great. It's a good one.
And I will leave a link to said video in the description below this one.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah. But you wonderful party people at home, please consider checking out Sir Creepington Pasta. I will leave a link to both your channel and your Twitter down here. Do it.
Yeah, perfect. I appreciate it. Yeah, and thanks again for having me, man. It's been awesome talking to you.
Oh, yes. And with that, this has been Demasked. My name is Fresman, and I will see all of you next time.